I realize that we're talking about what this musical is about and how it is based on your stories, but it's not totally autobiographical, but it's self-referential. And of course, the role of memory is important. How do you like that segue?
Really nice.
We're going to hear this song called Memory Song that Michael, you wrote and are singing in this. And then we'll come back and we're going to bring on Ava Farkas, the executive director of Met Council on Housing. So you guys should conspire about what you can do about your landlord if you want. You guys, we can do a mock
Okay.
role play.
Okay. Sure,
Um,
sure, sure, sure.
okay, so let's hear that song, Memory Song, and then we will talk to you, Ava Farkas, in a few minutes.
Dad is drunk and on the couch and Mom eats a pork chop. Daily bread mill, daily treadmill, won't ever stop. One lone black gay boy I knew who chose to turn his back on the Lord. One lone black gay boy I knew who chose to turn his back on the Lord. I am lying on the couch, I dream that I'm flying, flapping both my wings so hard to keep me from dying, with the crown of God's forsaken thorns on my head. Like all those black gay boys I knew who chose to go on back to the Lord. All those black gay boys I knew who chose to go on back to the Lord. All those black gay boys I knew who chose to go on back to the Lord. And one black gay boy I knew who chose to turn his back on the Lord.
And that was Memory Song by Michael Jackson of A Strange Loop. Michael Jackson, again, has been on the show before, and he graced us with his presence once again, even though he's now a Pulitzer Prize winner. He remembers his roots, his year-old roots when he came on the Katie Halper Show. And Michael's about to, do his thing. He's probably going to get off this show, and I don't know, there's going to be a limo waiting for him with a martini in it to take him around the block. I was going to say to see a show, but then I remember we're living in a COVID world. And we're joined by Ava Farkas, the executive director of Met Council on Housing. Ava and Michael, I wanted to introduce you guys to each other because Michael just brought up a housing thing.
Oh, yeah.
And Ava, you can give him some more tips. But he told his landlord this. What you want to tell her? What you said?
Yeah. So can I just explain the situation, or is there not time to? All right. So basically, what happened is a year ago, while my show was running at Playwrights Horizons, Con Edison told my building to turn the gas off because I guess there was issues with the pipes or something, and they had to replace all the pipes in the whole building. So then they turned the gas off. And then the building had to hire a plumber and do all the stuff. So, and that whole process of them coming in our apartments and ripping the walls up and all these things, and then finally they got toward the end of the process where they got the pipes replaced, but then they had to get all these inspections. And then right when they were about to get all the inspections, that's when the pandemic hit. In the meanwhile, all we were working with was a hot plate, and I stamped my feet and they gave me a convection oven. So then I let it go during the year because I was so busy with the show and other things that I was eating out all the time anyway. But then once the pandemic hit, I'm now me and my roommates have to deal with this hot plate all the time. And finally I was just kind of what's going to happen? Are they going to do the inspections? Are they going to turn the gas back on? Because it's just so hard to make full meals on this. And so I didn't pay rent last month, and then I hadn't paid it for this month, and I wrote my landlord a letter saying, listen, I am prepared to pay the rent, but I need to know what's happening with this. This can't go on forever and ever. This is not a safe situation. Yeah. And he tried to guilt me and be we've gone above and beyond and blah blah blah, and a friend of mine died of COVID, just through all this everything. And and this is the building manager, not the landlord directly. And so I just said, I said, so then they were Well, they said that they're going to have inspectors come tomorrow, which is today, which they did. And they said they're going to come back. Con Edison said they're going to come back on the 14th to turn on the gas, allegedly. And I just said, well, let's revisit this conversation once that's happened. Because if they don't show up and this keeps going on, I'm holding on to my rent.
Can I interrupt you?
No, I asked you.
No, it's okay.
It's the hotline.
I love tenant questions, tenants' rights questions. One question for you. So do you know if you're in a rent stabilized apartment?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's great. So not having gas is like a violation of the warranty of habitability. So that's a service you're paying for that you're not getting. It sounds like you haven't had it for about a year.
I have hot water, but I don't have a working stove.
Right. So not having a working stove that's a service you're paying for, and you shouldn't have to pay your full rent for all that time. You're entitled basically to like an abatement for that time.
Which is what I asked for.
There you go.
You haven't had full services. So there's like a number of things you can do. You can withhold rent. Your landlord could take you to housing court, and then you can appeal to a judge and have a judge sort of sort out how much of an abatement you can get. You can also fill out a administrative form with the state agency, which deals with all rent regulated apartments. So you can file for a reduction in rent for decreased services with Homes and Community Renewal. And it's always really good. Whenever anybody has a problem like this, gas is an issue that can take a year or more to get turned back on, because there was like the explosions in buildings. And so like there's many layers of like bureaucracy to getting the gas turned back on. So it's really important to report it as quickly as possible and to file for a rent reduction at the beginning, because the state will only give you the abatement back to when you filed. It's really messed up. So it sounds like what you're doing now, though, is like a good approach, because you can also negotiate that. But the best thing is for you to talk to your neighbors. So this is where organizing comes in, because
and I thought about
you guys can negotiate a better deal if all together you're withholding rent, or you're all demanding and putting pressure on your landlord together, because you're all affected by not having gas.
Safety
so I would
numbers,
say talk to your
power
neighbors
numbers, and
try to make a demand together collectively on your landlord and take some type of collective action.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There you go, right there. A little socialism in action.
You're welcome. And you guys are not, and also there is currently a statewide rent strike going on.
Yeah, so, I know that.
And so people are both being hit by the like economic issues of COVID-19, and many people already have existing issues in their building. And so people are, already can't pay, already having problems paying the rent. And then if you're in a situation like yours, where like you've already been paying rent for services you're not getting, you have the right to withhold rent and to demand those services along with your neighbors. And there's a whole movement happening across the state and now across this country that you guys can also plug into.
Right.
Look at that. And Michael, what did you say? It says it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's now your problem. I told that to the building manager. I said, I know this is not your fault, but now it's your problem.
Boom.
Yeah, and you're paying for a service you're not getting.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like we all learned a lot just now.
Yes, thank you for that. I appreciate it, and thank you for the work.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Michael, are you going to go take your limo ride now?
Yeah, I'm going to go take my limo ride to find something to eat, because I have been checking my messages about the Pulitzer all day, and like I hadn't eaten anything.
Is there a ceremony that's going to happen?
Probably
on Zoom.
Like whatever. Not on Zoom. I think they're actually going to try to postpone it until we're able to gather together again.
Where can people find you online?
On Twitter at the Living MJ, as in the Living Michael Jackson, at the Living MJ.
Smart.
My website is thelivingmichaeljackson.com. And my Instagram is The Living Michael Jackson. So that's my brand.
Great. That is your brand. Where's the Strange Loop coming next? Where was it
now
going to?
It's scheduled to go out of town to the Woolly Mammoth Theater Company in Washington, D.C. in the fall. Obviously, that's pending world events. But right now it's scheduled to be there in October, I believe. September, October. And who knows beyond that, but that's right now where Strange Loop is. So I'd love if people consider buying Strange Loop wherever you buy music or find music. Buying it is better than streaming it, but streaming it is okay.
Right.
If that's what you got. But a Strange Loop original cast album available on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, wherever you find music, cast album.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael Jackson, Pulitzer Prize winner. Make sure you listen to see Strange Loop, his great musical.
Thank you so much, Katie. It was a pleasure to be on with you.
Thank you. You too. See you soon, I hope.
Take care.
Bye.
Nice
Bye.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for your advice.